Before I start anything talking about activeRecord, let's think through this. What is activeRecord? Why we need activeRecord? Kind of database? No, database is SQLite. ActiveRecord is
transferring information to the database. It's like an automation for it.
Automation for it, or connecting your class or your models to database. And that's called ORM, Object Relationship Mapper. That means that we saw how to work with database. We saw how to work with the classes and all the stuff, like Ruby stuff. Now it's time to combine them together, because at the end, that's what we need. Like whenever we are creating a new information, updating or deleting, we want to persist it on our database side.
So do we think of it as a tool?
It's a gem.
It's a gem.
Yes. So activeRecord is a gem provided by Ruby. And what is a gem? Library that is returned by someone else, so you can use those functionality in your application. Okay, so you guys can see our learning goal for today, right? Let's start with, okay, so there is a documentation link there about activeRecord basics. I think it's in the lecture notes, if you guys figure like what I'm talking about. So let me open that here. So anytime you learn something new, you need to find that documentation. So just like if you write Ruby activeRecord, the first thing it will return you this. And I think someone's already shared this in the Slack channel, and I believe it's Nash, right? Nash, you have shared. Yeah, so it's just like it will tell you a little bit more information about what is activeRecord, why we need activeRecord, and all the stuff. So let's start by looking a little bit about our lecture stuff today. So we have gem file. In gem file, we are requiring pry. Are we all familiar with pry?
Yes.
We are requiring SQLite 3. Are we all familiar with SQLite 3?
Yes.
Require all. Have we seen this before? It's just like requiring all the files together. That's why we use this gem. Gem rec. Let's talk about this rec a little bit. So first of all, what is rec? Like a make file. That means it provides some kind of task that you can use to achieve your deliverables. That's the rec is. It's just like providing a different task for you guys, for your application. Then Sinatra activeRecord and activeRecord. So what's the difference between activeRecord and Sinatra activeRecord? Anyone have figured it out or? Yes, enhanced capabilities. So it's like Sinatra is framework for Ruby, and it's a lightweighted framework. So when I say lightweighted framework, that means it's not that much complicated. It's easy to use, and it provides some kind of extra task to our rec. So I'm going to show you guys what extra tasks these two are different with what are the extra tasks in there. What is, if you use Sinatra activeRecord and if you just use activeRecord, what the extra task that Sinatra activeRecord gives us. We're going to take a look in a moment. Okay, so gem file, how to install all the gem from our gem file? Bundle install. Oh, okay, install all the gem files. We have gem log file. Okay, now can you see this rec file? So rec file is first of all requiring relative environment file. We're going to take a look what is inside the environment file, and it's requiring Sinatra, that's the module, like a gem, inside the Sinatra, activeRecord, and then rec. So it's just like rec by default provides some of the task. But if you want to create your own task, you can create those tasks as well. And that task you will create in rig file. It's just gonna call rig file. That's it. No other extension or something. And here you can like description DESC, and then you can say start our app console. I believe you guys have seen a little bit of these in some of your labs. And then that means here we are creating a console so we can test our stuff. We can test few stuff in there. So we are saying task console, whatever is after that colon, that is going to be a keyword that you have to run. So it's, if I want to run this task, I will run with rig and then console. And then whenever I run that one, what I'm going to do is activeRecord. So activeRecord is a module inside base, then logger. Logger is giving us that inside the terminal we want the pry in there. So it's like standard output and then pry stat. It's just like we are creating a console in here. So if I want to run this, as I say, rig, all the rig tasks start with keyword rig and then console. That's the task that we created. So rig console, and we are in rig console, pry stat in there. There is nothing to test at this moment, so I'm just gonna exit out. What are the other files I have? I have a DB folder with migrate folder, but nothing is in there. We're gonna take a look at in this one in a moment. Then in environment file is here is your database connection. So when you are using activeRecord, then you don't no longer need to worry about that, oh, I need to connect with my database in every file because I want to use the database functionality. So activeRecord base establish connection is a method that as an argument takes two things, adapter, that is SQLite 3. We are using SQLite 3 database, and which database they want to connect. So it's just like development.sqlite, and then they are requiring all the app files. And that's what our structure looks like right now. Okay, now I told you guys I'm going to show you guys what is the difference between activeRecord and Sinatra activeRecord. So anyone knows how many tasks this rec provide to me, how I can see those tasks? Rec hyphen T. If I do this, I can see all the tasks that Red is providing. This is we created, this console. And you guys can see the description that whatever we put there is there. And those are the other tasks that is provided by activeRecord gem and Sinatra activeRecord gem. Okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Just give yourself a minute and see this. Then I'm going to remove the Sinatra activeRecord, and we are just going to requiring the only activeRecord gem, and then we'll see what are the rig options we have. Okay. Okay. Now, in my gem file, I'm going to comment this out, Sinatra activeRecord. Do I need to do again bundle install? Yes. Whenever you change your gem file, if you want your application to update it with the gem that you have included or you deleted, you need to do bundle install. So we are going to do bundle install, and sometimes it's this gem. So when you do bundle install, they create this gem log file. So it's better. Sometimes it gives you error, so it's better to just delete it and then do bundle install. And now it's installed.
First question.
Yes.
Bundle install doesn't downgrade any apps, right? So
No, it's not going to downgrade.
So would it remove certain gems?
If we come, yes, just for that particular application.
Okay.
It's just going to make change in gemlog file for that application.
Okay.
but I got some error and it's in my rec file. So it's in our rec file. I think this one. Let me comment this one out, okay? At this moment. Because it's requiring Sinatra and we just commented that out. Okay, it's which one is it's requiring relative? Okay, never mind. Ooh. Let me remove this Sinatra, okay? And now, okay, it's keep giving me that error. Environment file, line number 4. It's just active record. Okay. Don't wanna do this at this moment. Active record rake. Never mind. Do I have active record? Okay. Now it's different environment, line number 4. Task with dash dash stress. So rate dash t dash dash trash. Whew. So some Ruby gem is giving me problem with this. Okay. Let me put whatever was there. But the thing is, yeah, it's still here on the left. Okay. I don't know what happened with the Ruby gem right now, but the Sinatra, if you don't have Sinatra active record, how many of you write your own migrations? Like create your migration file and write those migrations? Yes, most of the time I see like you are doing 001, then underscore and creating a migration. Then I think, sorry, let's go back here. Let me do bundle, install again. This Sinatra is giving you this extra rake task that you don't need to worry about creating those files and giving names in a sequential manner. So though I think this one and one more is there. I totally forgot which one is there, but I think this one is the main one that is provided by Sinatra. So you don't need to worry about creating your migration files and writing your stuff in there. Okay, before we talk about creating what is migration and creating migration files, let's talk about, I want to ask you guys one thing. What is rec? Whoever is ready, just raise your hand. What is rec?
It's like a file.
If you're ready, let's raise her hand. Okay, I have just one student. Anyone wants to give it a shot? It's fine. We don't need to be right always, but it's just fine if we understood what is rec. Nash.
I don't think I understand it properly, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like a file that you can just call like tasks that are kind of like not scheduled, but they're pre-assigned. You can just call them whenever you so choose.
Okay, so sorry. task, and then whatever she said. So what's the second word? Ryan, writer. Oh, to run. Okay, my bad. Task to run. So anyone else want to add something, Saeed?
Yeah, like I found a good easy definition for that. Easy is an efficient way to manage database changes, and you can use it to migrate database changes to servers using command line.
Yes. So if you want to put all things together, Ray is providing you task to manage your database. Ray is providing you task to manage your database. So Ray is nothing but a file that is holding bunch of tasks for you. So it's a file that is holding bunch of tasks for you. So again, what is Rick? Who is ready to give answer? I'm ready. Okay. Aaron.
It's a file that creates tasks for you.
Create task for you as well as hold task for you. When I say hold task for you, what I mean by that is we have just created this one task, right? But when we do rake T, we can see, oh my god, a lot of this task. And those tasks are coming because of this require statement, because of the gen.
What are tasks?
Task, that means you want to perform some operations.
And that's that long list that you showed us were the tasks.
Yeah, those are the individual tasks itself. Okay, now let's talk about migration. So, what is a migration?
Movement.
Movement. Okay, movement.
That's another way to create and change database structure.
Change database structure. Yes, partially correct. Anyone wants to add something to it? So migration will help you to skip all the steps like creating the tables in your SQL. You are creating the table, connect them together. Migration is help you to create a table structure for you, a database structure, not the table, but actual database structure for you. So today we are going to talk about, we have domain book and author, okay? We are going to talk about book and author. That means I have these two tables in there. Now, in my database, I want to create those two tables. Then, as long as I create my migration, I don't need to worry about going into my SQL and writing all this stuff again. So, first of all, I'm going to use this rake task that is provided by Sinatra activeRecord. So, as you guys can see, rake db create migration, and then you need to give name to your migration, whatever name you want to give. So I'm just going to say create authors. Okay, usually your table names are going to be plural, so authors. So as soon as I hit this, what I get? Can anyone read that line for me?
Oh, right. You have your DB file, or you have your DB create authors.
So when you run your rec task create migration, or even you create your migration by yourself, it always have to be inside the migrate folder that is inside the DB folder. But still, we don't have our database. It's just like we are trying to create a structure for our database. Now we created this migration file. And now you guys can see that number there, a huge number. Exactly, that's the timestamp. So now when you create migration, you don't need to worry about creating your migration in sequence. So if anyone's figured out why we need to create migration in sequence, because when we are going to run our migration, we have to run our migration in sequence, like whatever the first migration we run, whatever the second one, whatever the third one, and afterwards. Then, as long as I created my migration from my terminal, can you guys see that method change and then active record migration 5.2? I don't even need to write those things. It's just there. Now, create authors, and what is this sign? Like this less than sign. Sorry? Exactly. That's the inheritance. So we are saying that this create author class is inheriting from active record migration class. And 5.2 is just a version. Then inside that class, we want to use this method called change. So change method, whenever you are creating a new table or you are making change in your database, in your table structure, we are always going to use method called change. Now, we want to create a new table. I'm going to give two things in. Okay, let's give just one thing. Author, name, and book, we give title and year. Okay? Yes, Saeed?
When we're writing the whole class script, like migration, the 5.2 thing, we always have to put the version.
Yes, I believe it's morely dependent on your Ruby version, your machine's Ruby version. Otherwise, it will give you, sometimes it gives you error.
Okay. And it's only in the
Honestly, but we don't have to worry about writing that because it does it by itself.
Yes, if you use create migration from your terminal, it will do it for yourself. Then you don't need to worry about it. But like if you're creating your, I'm going to show the next migration like creating manually, and then we'll see how it goes.
So you just want us to just do that just to get the
Yeah, I believe that Sinatra is giving you that opportunity, right, to write that migration by yourself, right? As long as you understood what's going on behind the scene, then you're fine to do it. Okay, now inside this change method, first of all, let's create this author. So we are going to say create table because we want to create a new table. Then colon. After colon, we want to write the table name, authors, because it's going to be authors. Then do. Can anyone tell me what is this T?
just a random. I mean,
Yeah.
not a random book, like any. It's a placeholder basically.
Exactly. It's just a placeholder there. Instead of T, I can write table, or I can write tomato. Doesn't matter. It's just a placeholder. I like because T is representing table. That's why we usually write either table or T, not write tomatoes, but just.
It seems pretty arbitrary. I mean, why is it necessary?
So what it's going to do here is create table that is provided by this change method. So what it's going to do is it's create the table, and then whatever the column you want to create, so it's kind of like how you were doing iteration in your array, like you were doing T dot and then whatever the key values of it. So it's useful when if like suppose I want to create columns for it, then I just need to do T dot then the data type that I want and then colon the column name.
Of course, but I guess the question is that like yes, it's similar to iteration,
Mm-hmm.
but this is not iteration. So
This is not at all iteration.
Then why are we using? Well, why is Ruby requiring like very similar like syntax?
It's just like, as I say, it's just like it's saying that for this particular table, now you are going to create columns.
Okay.
That's what it's like. It interprets that for this particular table, I'm giving it T as a placeholder, and now you can create how many columns you want to create.
Okay. Going forward, though, we should just write like tables, something just to make it like easier to read and all that. Or is that like a good habit thing?
Which one you got?
For just like the placeholders, like actually having.
Yeah, I think T and table are the standard words that usually we have to use.
Okay.
Then now, how many columns or how many information do I need for my author table? Just the name. So it's going to be string. So T, then dot, and now we will write what kind of data type. Integer, string, float, whatever you guys need it. So this is going to be string. So we write string, colon, and then I'm going to say it's name.
So it's different syntax when you're writing it in a Ruby file, because I would have thought it'd be t.text. Because in SQL, we've been
Yeah.
text.
Yeah,
it's
so
different.
SQL is totally different, active record. So now, we are no longer going to write SQL queries in there. ActiveRecord does all the stuff for us, and we're going to take a look at it in a moment. So now, if I write this, okay, I have one more thing. Let's do puts t dot. Let's actually put bybug in there. Oh, not bybug. Let's write it pry in there. Okay, now I want to run migration file. Anyone knows how to run the migration file? So as long as you run db migrate, whatever inside your migration file, either it's one file or couple of files, it's just going to run those files and create that structure for you. So I'm going to do rake db migrate. I will hit this, right? Now let's see what is T. Can anyone see what is T? That placeholder that we created. So first of all, it has some argument called name, that is author. That's our actual table name. Then name, ID. So it's saying that by default, it will have a primary key for ID, primary key true. And that means it's just represent that T represent our all information about the table. So now if I do T dot string, I get an array. That means, okay, let me do T dot, I believe I can, yeah. So yeah, can you see this? If I do T dot methods, like in Ruby when we are doing, if a class, if an integer belongs to an integer class, and if I do that object dot method, I can see all the methods that we can run on integer. These are all the methods that is provided by our table that we just give placeholder T. And now you can see integer, boolean, float in there. So that's why it's useful to give that placeholder there. Okay. I'm going to exit it out. Okay. These two files are new totally, right? As soon as you run your migration file, it will create that data. It will create the table and a new database for you. So now you can see development.sqlite, that's the database. And in schema, you can see what is the schema of your file. So schema, that means structure for your database. So it has, oh, you have authors table, and that has just one column, that is name. Okay. Oh, but I need to create a second table for book. What I need to do next?
Do the same thing you did for the first one. Go to your migrate.
Which command I have used last time to create my migration? Rake db. Okay, I'm not sure even. I want an answer from you guys. Which command I will write? Can I hold it a little loud? I heard few things and I think those are right. So let's hold it out. Exactly, rake db create migration. Okay, now what if I just hit enter? What is it saying? That means it's saying, oh, if you want to create migration, you have to give some name to your migration. And the best part about this rake is, like, if you are getting error, it will tell you where this error is coming from, and most of the time it will tell you what kind of solution you can use. So see here, name equals and then that. So we can just use, oops, I hit it again. Okay, I'm too bad with this. Name equals, and we will do create books. Okay, hit enter. Created that file. Where I can find this file? In my migration folder. Same thing, change. Okay, Now, what I need to do?
You need to add you need to create the table.
First of all, we need to create table. Table's name is going to be books. Do each one we want to call it T, like not each one, but just the table information we want to call it T. T dot its title and year. So string title. I don't want to put year at this moment. Suppose I just forget. Just assume it that I forget that I want to put year in there. I totally forgot that I want to do that. Okay. Still my schema is just the author. If I want to add that books table in there, which command I need to run? Do you guys want to take a look? The reg T.
Maybe the migrate.
Exactly. Migrate the database. It's just like you created a new migration and it's going to migrate. Unless and until you do not run your regdb migrate command, your database will not have the new change that you just created in your migration. So it's going to be regdb migrate. It's migrated. And here in migration, can you guys see? Create books, create table, migrated. So it will even tell you what kind of things they did. And now in our schema, boom, books table is there. But that's
Sorry. You do the migrate after you make the table, all the tables that you want.
It's fine. You can do migrate once as soon as you are running your migration, like in sequential order.
But you wouldn't have done migrate after you just make the authors table because it's
Yes.
just the table that you made.
Yeah, so it's not necessary that after every migration you need to do regdb migrate. You can write all your migration at first and then just do reg migrate and it will migrate all the migration. Not after every each file, if I got that right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Yes.
First of all, why do we need all this instead of using just a SQL create table?
So SQL create table.
Yes.
We're gonna take a look at it in a moment that why activeRecord makes a lot of stuff easy for us.
Not activeRecord, migration.
If you do not have migration, how can you connect your database with your Ruby files?
We can do, but we already connected it with database somewhere.
That's just connecting the database. Still, we are not.
Like it's existing database.
Mm-hmm.
And we just make this connect like this connect to strings, right?
Oh, those two things. Yeah,
And
that's.
then you do your class files representing shows and movies and books and whatever. You don't need migration process, right?
You need migration. I'll tell you a moment. So migration is just the structure. So unless and until you don't have the structure, if I want to add data to my to my tables, I need to have those structure in there. So I can add my data in my tables in my database. Let's take a look at all other things and let's revisit this question again.
Quick question. In regards to application of this, like real world application of this, is this just like you go to a website, you have to create a user account, and every time the user account gets created, it pushes it into a database, which means, and then it has to migrate that information into the background?
No.
Or like,
So
what
when
is
you
that?
create,
While it's updating, no? Okay.
so when you create a new user, it just add that user to your database,
It's
not the migration.
Okay.
So let's think through this. Migration is just the table structure. That's it.
Okay.
Migration is nothing else. It's just the table structure. But adding the data, at that point, our classes comes in a place. So right now, just think through that we are just creating the structure for our tables. And then once we have the structure, then we'll see how to fill out those structure, how to fill out those tables.
I guess I'm still kind of confused, kind of how Bart is saying was, why do we have to automate the creation of the structure?
That's
If
what I'm
the automation in my mind would be more so in creation of the rows.
Okay, so tell me guys how you guys are creating your tables.
You do it in SQL, like create table.
SQL browser. If you have
Whatever in one command, create table.
In
And you want a table, right?
Yes. So you are saying that in previously, I think I have somewhere it open. Let me
And you need it like once your whole application, and then you very
Like
rare change
this?
the regime, actually. If it's running application and people pushing data on it, when do you use this? When do you change structure? You do it pretty rare.
No. You just make structure once. You
That's what I'm saying.
but
Then why
you
do you need automate all the process if you're doing it?
I'm gonna come to that point, guys. Let's revisit this question. I'm gonna repeat myself again. Let's revisit this question. We are just creating the okay. This sequel. Tell me on I think Wednesday we'll do some we'll already did some pair programming together, and we were doing db.execute and then writing those SQL queries there. Is it feasible to write all those queries there every time? Yes, no. If I want to create 10 tables, can I do db.execute, create tables, one statement, create table, second statement, create table, third statement?
I mean, you can.
We can, but is this feasible?
No.
It's not.
How is this execute SQL create table differs from this create table thing that we just wrote?
This is activeRecord provides you that ORM, as I say, object relationship mapping. So, first of all, are you guys done with activeRecord association?
Sorry.
What do I mean by association? Anyone knows what is association?
Relationships between tables.
Yes, relationship between tables. SQL is just fine to create those relationship between tables. I don't think so.
What would do IDs?
We do IDs.
That's it.
We do IDs. We need to store the IDs in there, but how are we gonna take care of those things in Ruby?
What would this macros like test to
That's activeRecord, and that needs migration. Without that, how are we gonna do that? Yes, it's not part of migration, but you need your migration, you need your structure to fill out those information in. Without your migration, you cannot do has many or has through. That's our second lecture. Let's come to this. We're gonna take a look at guys, okay? I know you did all the labs, you have an extra question already in beginning. We're gonna take a look at it in a moment, okay? So here, okay, where was I? We have this, I totally forgot. We have this books, now we have title. Okay, I totally forget to add the year in there, and we see in SQL we can just do add columns and stuff in there. I want to do the same thing in here, as well as this migration, create migration is going to be useful when you are working in a team. Everyone knows that on each migration what you're doing with the database. If you just do in SQL browser, if I just like, oh, create this column and stuff like that, nobody's gonna know on which point you did what change in your database, in your table. So here, rake db, I'm gonna create a new migration, and this migration, I'm saying that I wanna add, okay, give me one moment. I'm gonna give this migration, I'm gonna give name, add column to books. You can give whatever name you guys want to give, but oh, did, ooh, thanks, Nash. See, so then equal to, and when you do space, is considered a space as the name part of the name, and now we have these with the times frame and change. Now we just want to add a column in our table, so we're going to say add underscore column, just like it. On which table we want to add column? Then what column we want to add? which column we want to add?
Oh, title.
Year.
Oh, you
We
want
are already done with title. And we want year as in integer. And now, okay. Now, what I need to run to see those change in my schema?
Migrate.
Great choice. Rake db migrate, and now it's added that year in my schema. So schema is gonna have all the updated things. Yes, Varia?
I have a like a weird feeling about this create table structure.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks confusing. How from the point of like from a Ruby point of view, how does it look like? Create table after we can do like it's just a create table is just a function of base class, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's
You're talking about migration, or you're talking about schema?
When we do create table
Here?
change, yeah.
Okay.
So it takes argument books,
Mm-hmm.
and it returns a table object.
Mm-hmm.
We name it T, and then we iterate from this T, adding columns.
Mm-hmm.
So why does it look so strange, like T string title? What goes where? Where is the function?
So T string is a data type that we want to put that, this column, like your column, needs integer. So if we are adding our thing in there, we can just write T integer and then the column name. So if I switch those two, you guys want to see what happened? It's just like if you think like T.title and then if you want to put string, that's what your question is, like how you know where to put what?
Yeah, what is it? It looks like two arguments going nowhere. Where is the function? Where is arguments here? And which order they should follow?
Do you remember we did binding.pry in here?
Yeah.
And then we do T.methods.
Yeah.
So string is a method for the T. So we are saying T string and then we are passing a column name in there. So that means we are saying that we want to create this new column in this table with string data type.
Oh, the function string
Yes.
inside the
Table, yes.
creates a new column.
Yes.
That's
So that means, yeah, so when we do T.methods, we get couple of methods. Out of those methods, we are using string and we are giving the column name in there.
Yeah, that's what confusing.
So like it would be similar like if you just put parentheses around name and
Yeah.
colon.
But not in here. That means you're saying
just in your
like
mind.
this.
No,
No.
like the whole thing.
Including the
Oh,
You know, just like how they show you
yeah.
like
Is that
like
how
this.
it is?
It's I'm not sure about the syntax, but that's how it runs. It takes that name as an argument for that particular string
Just
methods.
confusing that the name of this function is string and it creates column. It's not like create column string kind of.
No, it's just like when you write T.string, that means it's saying like, oh, I want to create a new column for this particular data type, and that column in name is going to be whatever is the second thing. Okay. Now we have this table, books, year, integer. We have everything what we want in this particular file. Okay, here comes the thing. We have created this migration. We have this development SQL. Do you guys know we can open a SQL database
yes.
from browser? So it's going to be the same thing how we were doing in SQL, just to check. We are no longer going to use DB browser at all. Never. It's just like to check that whatever you created is there or not. So I'm just going to say open database because database is already created. So right now, where are we? Right now we are working in your lecture code 11, and inside DB, this is the one that we just created with our migration. And if we open this, can you guys see? Author, books, and schema migration. It keeps tracks when you added what. It keeps track of those migrations as well. You don't need to worry about keeping track of when, who did what. You just keep tracks for all that stuff for you. Now, come that suppose I want to change something in my migration? I think about, oh, delete it. I want to add my column just in here. So like t dot integer. I don't want to create a new migration for just adding column. How about I just change my migration file and add column? Why would I create add column new migration in there? And we say t integer here, right? So, oops, let's close this database. And now it did nothing, right? Oh, because of my still previous. And one more thing, never change your schema file. You just need to change your migration, and then your migration is going to change the schema file. So if I want to remove this from here, that's going to mess up with my database. So never remove it from schema file. Yes, you can change your migration. Okay, but okay, let's do one more thing. Suppose t integer reading, okay? And so did nothing in our terminal, in our schema, nothing is there. I changed my migration. Why it's not there? Because yes, timestamp as well as it's look at for version. So it thinks that, oh, last time when I did migration, I already run this file. I'm not going to run it again. So that's why they just keep this file. But we made change in our migration, but this thing is like, I don't know if you have made change in that or not. So there are two solutions for this problem. It's just like, because I know adding columns and creating those migration is sometimes going to be a little more taskful rather than just like changing your migration is going to be easy. So two things you can do. First thing that usually we all do, just delete it and remigrate it. Usually that's going to work right now until you guys graduate. But when, that's the problem. When you work in your company, you never delete your database. If you delete your database, it's going to mess up thousands of things. Because one data is always dependent on some data that dependent on some data, and your team is like, who did this? Now we can't see what the database is going on. Because when your application in production, when I say production, that means some users are using it. Right now it's an ongoing application. It's hard to delete your database. So what I'm going to do is I will show you first of all what's the solution without deleting it. So there is something called rollback. Like name itself, roll the schema back to previous version. Every time it's just roll back one version. So if I use db rollback, because we deleted that migration, right now they're saying, oh, I don't have any migration to go back. It looks for this number, that file that we just deleted, the add column file in our migration. The third file was here, and then we just deleted that file. So that's why it's just like, oh, I can't roll back. But let me think through, please. I'm gonna clear this one up. I'm gonna rewrite that add column to books migration, add column to books, add column. This is my VS Code has little snippet, so as soon as I write add column, it will give me what the information they needed. So table is going to be books, the column that we want to add is going to be year, and the type that we want to add is going to be integer. Okay, and now bunch of thing in there. Duplicate column name year, that means we already created year, it's in our schema. So I'm going to try our first solution that usually we are trying. I'm just going to move it to trash. Make sure you delete two files, schema and your database. If you just delete one of those, then you're going to meet some problem. Just delete two files, database and your schema file. And now,
the schema file you said don't add things to, delete the whole thing.
Yeah, delete the whole thing. Because if you're changing your migration and you want your migration to run again, then just delete everything. So now, if we go to schema, we have this year, okay? But this year is coming because of this one, right? Okay, on my last migration, how many migration I did? 3 migration altogether. So if I roll back, it's just gonna delete the year one or it's gonna delete everything? Let's do this. Oh, not migrate, my bad. Let's do this.
I just delete the last one.
What it's deleting? Column, just the last migration, the last version. And now we have just title and year. And now let's do this. Okay, before we do that, let's roll back one more time. Because we are making change in our second migration, that is created books, roll back. Now in our schema, we just have authors. In here, I'm gonna say t.integer year. Now I can completely get rid of this add column migration, and now if I do Rails db migrate, in schema we have title and year in there. So if you are changing your migration and you want your schema to modify using that migration, either right now it's fine, just delete the schema and database, but if you are working in a production environment, it's better if you do rollback, not deleting. So rollback, just roll back one migration at a time. Okay?
Yeah, but when you roll it back, it doesn't delete your timestamped files, or it does delete?
No, it does not delete that timestamp files.
And after you roll back, would you want to delete them?
Yes. If you don't want to use that migration again, you have to delete those. Just the migrations. Okay. Now, this is all database, right? Like just connecting database. But where's Ruby? What are those classes that we are talking about all through last 2 weeks? Right? Let's talk through this. It's time to talk about classes. Okay, models. Let's talk about 3 different words that we discussed right now. We are going to discuss right now. Models, classes, and tables. What is the difference between those? If you guys know, just like whoever knows any of those, that's completely fine. Yes, Aaron?
Well, I mean, I know what class is.
What classes?
It's in a Ruby file.
It's a Ruby file.
I don't know how to explain it.
Yes, Mario?
The class is a blueprint or an object.
It's a blueprint to create objects. That's the class. Tables. What are the tables?
Oh, it's like a structure. Yes.
Sorry? Exactly. Table is just like a structure, storage place that you can store your data, or you can just put your data in there. Yes, put your laptop in there. Now, what are models? Here comes new word. Yes, it's a functionality to deal with the data, but model connects your tables with your classes. That's what model does. It connects your table with your classes. Oh, we know about database, we know about the classes. Let's combine them together. Not the joiner class. I would not compare it with the joiner class. It's just like a middle layer between your Ruby class and your database table. So now, when I say model, each your table is going to be individual model and individual class. So right now, how many tables we have? What are those? So how many models we're going to have? Two, exactly, two models we're going to have, author and book. And here comes a thing. ActiveRecord is very strict about its naming convention. When I say naming convention, that means some things you have to write in singular words and some things you have to write in plural words, capitalization, smaller words, everything. ActiveRecord is very particular about those naming things. So your model's file name is going to be same with your table name but singular word. So suppose I want to make author's model, my file name is going to be author.rb. That is going to be my file name. Now, here it is. Ray, here comes one more.
And that makes sense because you don't make a class plural, right?
Exactly. That makes sense because we don't make class plural. Okay, anyone knows like how do we know what is a plural for something? Sometimes we don't know, like what is a plural for water? Waters. Great, you guys know? I thought like I'm gonna put this in sometime like some kind of error, like oh you don't know what's a plural of water? Let's see that. Okay, let's think something. Okay, let's think about which doesn't have plural word.
Fish.
Fish.
Does it?
No, fishes. I think.
Yeah.
Did you say fish?
Goose. Yeah, I
Goose
think
or geese?
geese.
Oh, but what doesn't have a plural?
Yeah.
Yes.
Money doesn't have a plural.
Money. Great. We got one example, money. We don't know what is a plural for money.
Monies.
Monies?
Yeah.
N-I-E-S.
Okay, oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, one moment. I'm gonna...
What? You said the sentence?
What's a hack?
I always say money. I never say monies. Give me
What's a
monies.
heist? Yeah.
Ice. Ices.
Heist.
Heist. Okay. But the point is, we're gonna take a look at this plural singular game later. Okay, 3, 2, 1. So in Ruby, if you don't know anything about a plural word, like what's going to be the plural word for particular model and table name, plural in Ruby, and there is a method called pluralize, I think. Dot. Okay, so this guy's made the full application for you. Just search for the word and it will tell you what the plural is.
Oh, loose.
But give me, I think it's pluralize. Yes, it's pluralize. Yeah. So that method is provided by Ruby and it's taking time this page, but now it's there. So you can just write pluralize and then the word and it will tell you what is going to be the plural for that particular word. So Reg console, just opening a console in there. So if I write, I think it's taking, you can just pass one word in there. It's not necessary. You have to pass 2 arguments in there. Pluralize dot, sorry, not dot. Good. Oh, never mind. I think you can do these. No, you cannot. Yes, I think there is one thing where you don't need to type a number. Oh, it's actually problem with pluralize. Exactly. Let's do IRB. Because, yeah, it's just like, oh, we don't know what you guys are talking about. Let's try. Oh my god. Pluralize, undefined method pluralize. I think it's going to be good. Dot. No, give me a moment. I think I have it. somewhere.
The string initializing number. Just use Ruby.
Oh, okay. Let's do this. Like string dot pluralize. No. Let's just give me a moment. It's not this. Yeah, see, it's just like, oh, I think I just did good dot pluralize, but I need to pass good in string. It's like, I know it should. No, it's not. Let's see.
Space between that good and the not pluralized?
I'm just gonna copy and paste in this here. It's giving problems. I think something is problem with my IRB. But
Some special library or class.
That's just right under you.
oh no, I think I'm missing something. Let's do this. repl.id. Oh my god, it's taking me to security check. Can you guys see? Yes, Ruby, there it is. So it's online compiler. Sometimes you think that your version is not good. No, it's the problem with pluralize method.
What about the locale? Is that why it needs a locale?
Which one?
Uh,
In my terminal?
Yeah, if you go back to the, you see how at the top where pluralize is bolded?
Mm.
Equals no, locale equals colon 10
Mm.
for English.
Hmm.
So you need to find the, I don't think we do, it's not in the examples, but.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I'll take a look and we'll discuss it in a second lecture. I'll see what's going on wrong with this one. It should work like that, but let me see if I'm missing something or not. But here, so now we have this author. We have created that author. Let's get back to this. Just quick recap. Table names going to be plural. Model name and class name going to be singular. And one table name equals to one single model, one single class. So now we have this author. So we created this author.rb. Here, author is going to inherit from activeRecord base. Oh, not that. End. Okay. Here comes the good part. Now we created this. Do I need to care about now initialize method, any of those methods? Anyone thinks that? That's what I said. Like, so from now on, since our second lecture, like until our second lecture, if I say like, do you think activeRecord can do this? Most probably the answer is going to be yes. activeRecord can do a lot of stuff for you because you have your migration and schema in there. Now you just need to define the class name. You don't need to worry about initialize, getter and setter method, nothing. You don't need to worry about anything in there. You have migration, you have your schema. Now, don't believe me, I might be wrong. So let's do rake console. Okay, if I want to create a new author, what we were doing before. Author.new. Since now new is just creating the object, we are going to use something called .create. So .create creates an object as well as create that particular information in the database as well. So that's the difference between new and create. New, that means just the object. Create means object plus the database entry. So we are going to use author. Now if I do, here, author, that's our class, dot create, and what takes, the author will take name. So I'm gonna say DHH. He's a good author for Ruby books. And do you guys think this should work? That's how we were doing in Ruby, right? Ooh. Error. What error says? So now, like in Ruby, we were worried about we need to pass the information in sequence. We can get rid of it. We are not going to pass information in sequence. We're just gonna say name, colon, like key and value pairs. And you can switch the order of key and value. That's completely fine because now we are passing key and value pair, not just the values. And if we do this, can you guys see that behind the scene statements? Like insert into author's name, values, the question mark, and then as a question mark, they are putting DHH. So migration, that means just the structure, just the schema. But when you want to create a new data, you have to have models. Otherwise, if I don't have the model, right now, if I try to do book.create and I'm going to say title, not going to work, and year 2019, it's just going to say, I don't know what is book there because we have not created the models. So migration has nothing to do with models. But when you want to add your information, at that time, two things comes in a place, a schema and model. And schema is created because of the migration. So think through this. Migration that creates the schema, models that connects the data with the schema and add those to their database. But that means, can I do now author.new? And I'm going to say name. And I want to be author one day. You're going to guys read my book for sure. In few years. It created that thing. But can you guys see this ID? That's null. And this ID was 1. That's the difference between new and create. New, just the object, it have not persisted to the database. Okay, but I created with new, what I'm going to do now? ActiveRecord has a solution for you. You can use .save after creating new, so it will just save it to your database. So I'm going to say author equals underscore. Everyone understand what I did with underscore? Underscore is just going to store whatever the previous result inside the variable called author. That's what the underscore does. If I hit this, and now I just need to do author.save, and now we have this, we have created that particular author, and now do I have any method called all? It should not work, right? Ooh, it's working. ActiveRecord. Who does that? Who does that? ActiveRecord. Every time until our second lecture, if they're like, what does that? Just ActiveRecord. So now, no need to worry about initialize. No need to worry about all. No need to worry about getter and setter method. Everything ActiveRecord take care of you. So now, let's get back to our question. Why we need migration? Because once we have migration, then we have schema. And our schema is connected with the models. And then we don't need to worry about anything else is just like activeRecord gives us all that functionality. It's just like, oh, you have the schema that is ready. I have the model. Let's connect them together. And now we don't need to worry about anything else. Yes, Varia?
So in case you already have a database, like created somebody somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
do you have to make all these migrations again to make the schema?
I believe you can download the schema and just put it there. If you have database already there, then you can just take that schema and put it in your schema file. I think no, not we never write our schema files, but I know we can do something about it. Like from the database, you can get the schema file in something and then just store it in your RP, like Ruby. I'll get back to you after checking, but I think you can do with your previous database.
Can't you just assign the location of the database from either it was an environment or the ring file? I can't remember, but
That's connecting the database, but it always look for schema.rb to connect with your model, and that schema.rb is going to be inside your DB folder. That's why it's just like activeRecord is little bit strict to its format and its naming convention. Like if you change a naming convention or format a little bit, activeRecord it's just like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. So for example to this is, we know we need to create a second model, right? What's going to be the name for my model? Book? I'm going to make books. I want this particular activeRecord to mad at me that why you created book. And I'm going to say class books. Let's write this books. And then I'm just going to say activeRecord base. So if anyone wonders, activeRecord is a module and base is a class that is provided by activeRecord module, and we are just inheriting. So those create, new, save, all those methods are coming from those class. That's why we are inheriting, then we don't need to worry about writing those things again and again. End it. And now let's hit our console. And let's see if I do books, what I get. Books.connection to establish a connection, something. If I do author, like that. So if I do books.new and not let's use dot create, okay? It takes title. I think I have created a book somewhere. I'm just gonna pick it up. This one. What I get? Oh, my bad. What I get? It worked. It should not. Why? That's a question for me, not for you. Ish. Oh yeah, my bad. Ish, because I'm giving this one this name. It's still creating. Oh my god. Why I'm not meeting that error? Give me a moment. Let's do reverse of this. When I say reverse of these, that means in my, okay, in my migration, instead of books, I'm gonna write book. And what I get? I show you the reverse way, the example, but what is go and look for?
Okay, find the table.
Why it looks for book? I just put everything like singular.
Oh,
Okay, the table has to be
Plural. So if right now, so that's I show you like reverse way, but actually it's just like reverse way. But still, your table name are going to be not table. Your model name are going to be singular. That's the standard way. But if you don't match the singular and plural, it's gonna give like, oh, I don't know what you are talking about. It's book table is there, but still it's like, oh, I don't know. I'm just always gonna look for plural, whatever your class name is. So let's get back to books. And I think this is all fine. And I need to do migrate again. Okay, without migration, can I create something? Okay, let's see this. What I get? It always, when you do create, it always go and look for the table because create is for database. But that means, can I do this? Nope, because it's active record. Active record take care of your attributes using your schema. So until you don't have your schema, you cannot even create the object because the class think that, oh, I am empty. I don't know how many attributes I have. So just gonna exit it out. Regdb migrate, reg console, create it with new, not ID. But if I'm gonna do book.all, it's nothing because it's just locally present, not persisted in our database. So we're gonna say book. Okay, do you guys remember we created two authors, right? They should be there. Like they are those authors are going to be there or not? Let's see, right? That's a nice one. Nope, because that's the thing. When you delete your database to do those migration, it deletes everything inside your database. So that's why that step is little tricky and little not suggested to do. But here, right now, you guys are learning, it's fine. But just like try to use rollback simultaneously, like when you can.
How do you view the database? Just through there? Or is it only through IRB?
This is console, reg console.
Yeah, but can you view the database right there?
Oh, database right here?
Yeah.
In the browser?
Yeah, well, through like terminal. How do you do that?
I believe it's reg C. We need to create.
Yeah, that way we can just see where the database is at before we start reversing or anything.
You want to see the whole database in terminal?
Yeah, can you do that? Or do you just go to the browser?
I think you can do all the database related commands in terminal, but you want to see the full database. Yeah, so if you can use all to see what are the information in there, but if you want to see the whole, I would choose the browser.
All that just prints out the columns, right?
Columns, yeah. So, but you can do authors dot columns, and it will columns because it might be plural that like you have more than one columns.
It doesn't show the rows in there.
Which one?
It doesn't show rows of data.
No, it's gonna give structure to you. Like those are the column, and those columns are name and integer and stuff like that. So it's just gonna give you the information about the columns.
Right.
If you want to see the data, you need to do author.all, and if you want to see everything together, then browser is the place. DB browser.
I guess the reason why I'm asking is, say you have your authors table with two different rows with information, and now you delete a column, right? Because you're rolling back, but then you forgot that you lost your data point that was within that column. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I got you. It's like suppose you have a column called date of birth, and then you deleted that, then it's gonna show that information up for the two user or not.
So now you have a row where you have to input that information again if you added that column back in, for example.
Yeah, so if you added afterwards a column, like you have 2-3 data and then you added a column, it's just gonna put null for those data.
Exactly.
Those 3 data.
Yeah.
It's just gonna put null. So you can change it with
Yeah, but you'd have to do that. But
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering if there's like a quick way to just see it right in terminal because you're already there, you're already typing a bunch of stuff. So versus switching windows, but if not, then that's fine. I'm just curious.
I think it's just like when you do suppose you have 2 things that are empty in there. So when I do author.all, it's gonna say the second column is empty, like null.
Yeah.
So let's do this actually. I like that idea. So let's do create. It just take name right now, okay?
Sure.
So DHH. Who wants to be author in future?
Charles.
Oh my God, Charles. We have Charles and DHH in there, okay?
Sure.
Now let's add a column. So I'm gonna say rake db migrate. Sorry, it's create you guys want to check a look? Where's that list? Oh my God, it's 2. Yeah, it's create migration. Then I'm gonna say name equals, and I'm gonna say add column to authors. This migration is there. Here I'm gonna say add column authors age, let's say integer. Oops. And now still my schema is changed or is going to be the previous one? We need to do migration. So we're gonna do rake db migrate to change the schema. Now if we go and take a look at our schema, age is there. Okay, now rake console, what I get? It's just gonna give you null for the all previous value. And as well as if I believe that if you don't give that particular column not null, it's not necessary user have to put something in there. So suppose I want to create a new author with Charles 2. I can still create it because my age is, I'm not giving any restriction that it's not going to be null. So it's fine. It's just like, oh, that's all are null.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Now, let's create few books in there. So, okay, before I do that, do you guys know we can create authors with this, right? Author 3. Oh, actually, let's create a book in there. So you're gonna say book dot create title. Today is Monday. And year 2019. Create one more book. Today is nice day. I'm very bad at naming books. I can see that. And I can do book dot all. Okay? And I can see all the books. Now, how I can pick a particular book? If I want the first book, I can do book.all.first. It's going to give me just the first book. If I want last book, I can do last. It's going to give me last book. And do you guys see when we do book.all, it gives us return an array, right? Yes?
Yes.
So we can do book.all of 3 is not there, of 1. It will return that. So it's just an array. Now you have everything. Okay, how I know that I have, oh, right now we think how many methods. So we think about new, save, that is equal to create, and we see we get one more method, all. What are other methods that it provided by this activeRecord gem? Ask it. So I'm going to say book all one. So I'm just picking one object from it and I'm going to do methods. Those are bunch of methods in there that probably we are not even going to use most of them, but you can still do it. Okay, and now I need to exit it out. Oh my god, what happened to this? I'm not able to type anything in here. Okay. Shoot. Close it, right? Terminal. Never mind, not. Let's open it from here. Otherwise, I need to do CD in there. And if we do rake console, and now book.all, we have all the books in there, everything in there. Now we see that we can do first, we can do last, we can do the array of 0, 1 and stuff like that, and we get all the books information in there. Can I do find and something as well? Yes, you can. Like, remember, find. What dot find will do?
Pick all or no, pick one.
So find, always find by ID, the unique primary key. That's what find does. So if I'm gonna say 2, I get just the second one. So find that picks the primary key out of your table and just gonna check it. But if you wanna say find by, I think it's find underscore by, right? Oh, it's not Rails. I want to see active. Yeah, it's find underscore by. So you can do find underscore by, and then you need to pass key and value pair. So I'm going to say year 2019. Both of my books are from 2019, but you guys know find always return just first. As soon as it meets the requirement, it just return that. So still all our previous known things are still gonna work. No change in that. Yes?
You said find by and then you define like a specific year. Can you just say that year is like the maximum year?
I think you can just, this will take key and value pair. Find by always take key and value pair. No, not any function. It's just going to take key and value pair. But you can do book all, take out all the years, find the year, and then pass that variable in there. But it's always going to take a key and value pair in there. Okay. Now, individually, these two are working. We tested stuff. In our second part for today's lecture, we're going to learn about association. When I say association, it's time to connect them together. Right, one to many, many to many, and we're gonna take a look at how it's gonna work. Okay, any questions so far? Sure? Yes? Okay, now how do you guys feel about activeRecord?